But the big question here now is have we seen Pandora's box opened up in terms of Jaren Kanak? I mean, the toothpaste, right? Is it squeezed out of the tube now? Because you're not saying if you squeeze the toothpaste out, you can't put it back in. And we've seen Jaren Kanak. We have seen this kid play now in significant, meaningful moments, and he was good. He was better than good. And I know what Brent said after the game. Brent Venables, you probably saw the quote, which kind of has to make you chuckle a little bit when he's basically said, look, Kanak doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't learned to play linebacker yet. 10 tackles later, one quarterback hurry later, pretty good for a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. So can you keep him on the sidelines? Is that an excuse? Is Venables saying, look, he doesn't really know, I understand his position yet, and for that reason, we're going to keep him on the sidelines and use him in the capacity that we used him Saturday as an emergency backup guy? DaShaun White gets ejected for targeting or so gets hurt. You can bring him back in there. But he's not going to be a starter. He's not going to be full-time cheetah. He's not going to be full-time linebacker until he really learns the position. And so now you have an automatic excuse. You have a reason not to have him out there and to have DaShaun White out there instead. And it's not like DaShaun White was having a bad game. Remember, he only played a half. At the point of his ejection, he was sitting on 6 tackles and 1 quarterback sack. But then you look at Kanak coming in there and leading the team with 10 tackles. Now, granted, 7 of Kanak's 10 tackles were assisted tackles. So in other words, if I'm tackling somebody at the same time you're tackling them, I don't get full credit for that tackle. I get a half. That's counted as a half of a tackle. True freshman, who Brent Venables says doesn't know what he's doing yet. But, I mean, there were results. I mean, it was results all over the field with Jaren Kanak. And we've seen that. We've seen flashes of that against Kent State. We saw flashes of that against UTEP. So now have we opened Pandora's box for any time DaShaun White struggles? Are we going to be yelling for Kanak to come into the game? Because that's like a real possibility. That could really happen, and you really could see results. But then if Brent's telling the truth, and I don't think Brent is a Lincoln Riley type guy who just gives you coach speak. I would say if Brent Venables says that there are things that Jaren Kanak doesn't understand about playing the linebacker position, he's just out there going on instinct, and he's making mistakes that he's covering up with his athleticism. I would think if Brent Venables says that, then it's true. So how much is that going to hurt you against an offense like Oklahoma State? How much is that going to hurt you against an offense like Texas? How much is that going to hurt you once you get into conference play when he's making those little bitty mistakes that he can make up for with his athleticism? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is this kid's going to be a monster. We have yet to see the best of what he has to offer, but what he has offered has been really, really good. And it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really, really hard, in my opinion, especially if you see struggles from the personnel that's on the field ahead of him. It's going to be really hard to not see him on the field, to not want to see him on the field, to not vocally express a desire to see him on the field. I do. I think that we've seen Pandora's box open up. And the thing about Pandora's box is you can't close it. Once it's open, you can't close it. And I don't think we're closing the door on this anytime soon.